Well, people in Ukraine today are going through the rubble from a fresh Russian onslaught. Ukraine has been rocked by a number of explosions. Ukrainian National Police say at least 10 people are dead and 60 wounded across the country. This is video from Kyiv this morning. Missile strikes on the capital are the most intense they've been since the early weeks of the war. And they come after Russia accused Ukraine of damaging a key bridge between Russia and Crimea. A statement from Ukraine's President Vladimir Zelensky says the strikes targeted energy infrastructure and people throughout the country. Abby Kuadasan is in London this morning with the latest. So, Abby, good morning to you. What can you tell us about these missile strikes?
A barrage of strikes this morning across multiple Ukrainian cities, including the capital, Kyiv. Ukraine's military says some 75 missiles were launched by mid-morning alone. We saw burning cars on the roads of the capital, a massive crater near a playground in Shevchenko Park in the middle of the city. Multiple people have been confirmed dead in the capital, at least 8 civilians. Now, this was during Monday morning rush hour in a city that has not experienced this level of airstrikes in recent months. And we're seeing images of people gathering in subway stations, similar to the scenes we saw in Kyiv earlier this year when Russia launched its wider invasion. There were also strikes on other cities, including Lviv in the west, Dnipro in central Ukraine. And in the last week, dozens killed in Zaporizhia, at least 14 dead on Sunday, a 9-story building partially destroyed. Other buildings were also leveled in the area. And we saw earlier this morning Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky releasing a video standing in the capital outside the presidential office where some missiles landed, saying the Kremlin chose a time to ensure as much harm as possible. We have now also heard from the European Union. They've condemned these attacks as heinous, and the G7 will be holding an emergency online meeting tomorrow, and President Zelensky will join them.
And Abby, of course, all of this comes after that explosion on Kerch Bridge over the weekend, which of course offers that only land link between Russia and Crimea. So is there any connection here between what happened this weekend and these missile attacks?
When the missiles started falling this morning in various parts of Ukraine, there was a real sense that this was retaliation. And Russian President Vladimir Putin just spoke a short time ago, and he says these strikes are in response to the attack over the weekend on that bridge that you mentioned, linking his country with occupied Crimea. The explosions that damaged the Kerch bridge were seen as a major blow to the Kremlin. That bridge is very much a symbol of Russia's occupation of the peninsula. It cost nearly $4 billion. Putin was there driving a truck across it when it was opened, and he called this attack a terrorist act. He blamed Ukraine, but as we know, Kyiv has not taken responsibility.
Okay, Abby, thank you for this. Abby Kuadasan for us in London this morning.